Give me a break, man. Give me a flake, man.
Okay, today's question comes from someone named Firefly Surrounded, and he asks, hello, it's entitled Japan or Korea. Hello, first of all, I would like to thank you for having such a good channel. You're welcome. I appreciate all the insight into the Japanese culture, the language, and their way of life. Thanks for being awesome. Shit-eating grin. Okay. Currently, I am enrolled in a university and studying the Japanese language in addition to courses required for my major. I plan to study abroad in Japan in 2 years. This guy's got a plan. That's good. Lately, I've been thinking it would also be nice to travel to Korea sometime and to be able to visit places over there and communicate effectively with the Korean people. Thus, I've considered starting to learn Korean as well. Korean, Japan, and Turkish, I believe, belong to the same language group. Yeah, only those 3 languages. I forgot the name of that language. I forgot the name, but anyway, it's the same language group. And I've had Korean students in my Japanese class when I first came here. Not first came here, but I've been here 4 to 6 years or so. And 1 year we got a Korean student, and I was in the highest level, and she quickly surpassed everybody. After 2 years, she was already in the highest level class, and she ended up surpassing everyone in the class, including the Chinese. In the final advanced class, it was me, 5 Chinese, and her. And we became lovers, and that's a long story. But no, I'm just kidding. No, she was great. We became very good friends, and her Japanese kicked ass. And she would always tell me, well, in Korean language, we have the same expression. We have the same expression, and the grammar's the same, and all the expressions, all the idioms are the same. So it was easy for her. Anyway, the question here, back to the question from Firefly Surrounded, would it be advised to begin learning Korean alongside of Japanese, or would that turn into a big train wreck? I don't know. I think if you studied hard enough, I don't think it would be that difficult. In my mind, language has nothing to do with intelligence. It's like music. You don't think of guitarists or piano players and say, wow, that guy's a genius. No, he's a good guitar player or a good pianist because he practiced, right? So I think and of course there are a lot of musicians who can handle 2 instruments or even more. I would say practice enough and you can do it, right? But you got to practice. And in fact, it might even help you. Right? They say that people who speak 2 languages as children are better at learning more languages once you get a couple. So I would say, yeah, why not? Go for it. But of course, I don't know your brain. Everyone's different. So you might be one of those people who can only handle 1 language at a time, right? Not someone who has these multitasking abilities. And so, I don't know you. All I got is an email from you. Anyway, go back to the email. He says, I promised myself that I'm going to go to Japan one day, so Japanese is my main focus. Should I put all my effort into learning Japanese and then pursue Korean once I'm fluent in that language, or should I divide my time studying both concurrently? I think either way to go. I would say if I had to go back and do it over, I would study all at the same time and see, But I don't know. I'm not sure. It depends on you, I think. Also, could you tell me how long it takes to become proficient in Japanese? It really depends on you. I know one guy personally he came over here, and I didn't know him well because, you'll see why. He came over here, he got a girlfriend, and he studied every day with her. He sat down with books and studied every day, and after 1 year, he passed the highest level, the Nihongo Noryoku Shiken, which is the Japanese language proficiency test. After 1 year, and then he went off to Thailand for a year and just hung out and had fun. And apparently he lost a lot of it. But yeah, you can do it. You can study your ass off. But this guy had no life. Every day was studying. And he did it. He passed the test. But of course, passing the test doesn't actually mean you're fluent. It just means you can read quite a few of the kanji, and you know the readings, and you know the grammar. But those tests don't really mean you're actually fluent or communicative. And I know a lot of Chinese people who've passed who could barely speak, and I was like, really? I can't believe my Japanese is so much better than his or hers. And their Japanese was the conversational level was so low. Accents also terrible. But yeah, so how long does it take to become fluent? After about a year or 2. After a year, I could become, and remember, I'm an English teacher, so I spent most of my days with people who only want to speak English with me. But after about a year or so, I could do basic communication, After 6 months or so, I could buy things, After a few months, that was easy, right? But I could have basic conversations after about a year, and I felt pretty cool. It's funny, because in the beginning you think, oh, I can speak. But I think after 2 years, I was sitting in an izakaya, a little bar one day, a little restaurant bar, and I overheard a conversation, and I was like following the conversation, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I completely understand this conversation. I was so excited, right? But I would say the more you learn, the more you know, the more you learn, the more you realize how bad your Japanese is. And I think I would say it took me about 6 years of studying on and off and here and there. But continuing to study, before I felt like, okay, my Japanese is pretty damn good. And here's the sucky thing about Japanese. Even if your Japanese gets really good, like I would say I'm probably, and it's gonna sound funny, I'm probably top 5 or 10% of all foreigners, but that doesn't mean it's actually that good, because a lot of foreigners, their Japanese sucks so bad that being in top 5, 10% is actually not much of not that big a challenge, all you have to do is really try and practice it and get out there and practice. So yeah, also if you're living in the States and you want to become proficient, it's very, very tough. One student who has done that is Kemushi-chan, and her Japanese is amazing. And I don't know how she did it, but the same thing here in Japan. Some of my students, their English is amazing. Their English, some of my students, individuals, their English have just, you just can't believe they've never been to another country before, or never studied in another country. No accents, etc. Anyway, nothing's impossible. You can do it, but you really got to apply yourself. It's not easy. It's not just like I'll learn this and that little bit by little bit. You got to sit down for hours at a time, thousands of hours of studying. So good luck with that, and thanks for the question, and on to the next one. See you in the next video.